Alright, so our second set of Tier 2 between Team Dragon and Samyang Fire is going to be Gorgonoth versus Nbaker, I believe.
Ooh, okay, ZVP then.
Yes.
Or PVZ.
It is a PVZ.
Rather.
Alright. Get this started, and it is, of course, on Aztec again. Here we go.
All right, as my overlay likes to shut off randomly in the 7 o'clock position, Nbaker as the red Zerg. And in the 12 o'clock position, Probe King as the blue Protoss.
A.K.A. Gorgonoth.
Yeah, Gorgonoth. It looks like. Yeah, so good luck from Gorgonoth. Now, I'll be honest, this map is absolutely god-awful for Protoss versus Zerg. Like, it is horrible. So, to begin with, this is like the dream, like, no sugarcoating it at all. This is the dream Zerg map because Zerg's got so many potential bases that they can take as their third. Basically every strategy is open to them, from 5 pool all the way down to 12 hatch, 3 hatch before pool. I've even seen 6 hatch before gas being used on this map, which I thought was an absolutely insane build, but apparently the scouting allows you to do it, primarily because the walls for Protoss are really tricky and they're really holy. Like, a 9 pool is a really strong option on this map. 9 pool speed, you're just able to run by so easily. It's also Mutalisk heaven. Like, these bases are so wide open and they're so exposed. Again, like we've been saying many times before, this 12 o'clock base is probably the worst in that regard for allowing Mutalisk play. They can fly in from any angle. You constantly have to fear those Mutalisks. And, all those things contribute to just making it an absolute nightmare for Protoss. So I think a lot of Protoss went into PVZ on this map just expecting, like, okay, I'll lose the first game because it's Aztec or whatever. And, you may think of that as a defeatist attitude, but it's really hard for Protoss to win on this map. And I've spent a lot of CPL just casting Protoss get absolutely demolished by macro Zergs on this map. So
yeah, it's definitely a strong macro Zerg map, especially being a 3-player map. If Zerg gets to that extra base before you, you're gonna run out of minerals a lot sooner. So.
And I love Nbaker's reaction here. This is overpool into 11 hatchery. Unfortunately, Gorgonoth scouted the wrong way, so there's no chance of blocking the expansion and slowing that down a bit. He sees a forge, and he only makes 2 lings and just pure drones from here on. He knows there's no pressure coming. And actually, Gorgonoth was forced to make a cannon before the Nexus, which is pretty much the worst case scenario for him, because you have to respect that overpool. You don't know if there's 6 links coming across the map, especially if you don't scout them first. And Nbaker is going to go for the refugee style. Going to take this other natural. This natural is super easy to defend, by the way, as Zerg. Like, you just SimCity this up with Sunkens, and it's really hard to attack in there with Zealots, and you have a free 4th base behind it, so, awesome. Great map. Why was this even in the map pool? Anyway, yeah, so Nbaker's just going to go, my guess would be with this style, he's just going to go for standard 3, probably 6 hatch actually. 3 base Spire into 6 hatch Hydra, yeah. That seems to be the theme nowadays. Like, the difference between 5 hatch and 6 hatch, 5 hatch you're able to get out on the map more, but the fact that he's taking this far base leads me to believe it's not going to be 5 hatch. Generally, with 5 hatch, you want all of your bases to be closer together so that you can use your mobile Hydra Force to sort of bounce between them and defend, and also sort of pressure at the front if you feel like you have the opportunity for it. But with the far base, you're definitely focused on getting a 4th base around the 8-minute mark, which is extremely economical, but if you feel like you have the opportunity to do so, you can just blow ahead of the Protoss in macro, like, so much. It's not really fair at all. So
well, it looks like he saved this probe from earlier, and he's actually, let's see if he can sneak it into the main. Oh Oh wow!
Nice attempted block with the drone, but he's gonna see the lair complete right about now. So he knows it's a 3-base Spire pretty much. At this point, if there's no Hydralisk Den, it's not going to be some sort of funny lurker play. Let's see if he actually sees a Spire, though. He's just rotating around, and he doesn't see a Spire in there, so he should leave now. Because chances are, if they're going for a Spire, they built it immediately after that lair finished. Otherwise, they're putting themselves at risk of having Corsairs run them through the gamut with Overlord kills.
So he built it on at the natural here. You think?
Yeah.
Are you saying that Gorgonoth should be not expecting Spire anymore?
No, I think he should expect Spire. It's just that it's nice to be able to see it. And if you see the lair finish and you know exactly when the lair finished, the next thing you have to be looking for is the Spire. And another thing you want to look for is the second gas, because if they drop the second gas before they add on these additional hatcheries, almost certainly they're going for a blindly committed Mutalisk play. They're hoping they can catch out your Corsair, and in doing so, be able to overwhelm you with Mutalisks. But from the looks of it, he's just going to add these additional hatcheries, and there goes his 5th hatchery down at the 3rd base, and he should be adding on Hydralisk Den, Evolution Chamber, Hatchery, or second gas in that order. But he's actually going to be taking a really fast 4th base. So
what's interesting
this is like a super turtle style, actually.
What's interesting is Gorgonoth's basically delayed the Spire timing, and he's only just now attacking the Overlords. I feel like he could have just started with killing the one that was in his main, and then...
Oh, 6 Scourge too, instead of the usual 4. Oh, but he crashed 5 of them into 1. A little bit of miscloning there by Nbaker, and he's going to get a couple Overlords for this. Now he should go home, because he knows that there's going to be more Scourge on the way. So I think that was a very risky move. He should have lost both of those Corsairs. But he didn't. The gamble paid off, but it theoretically should not have. Nbaker's going to go up to 4 bases, though, really fast. He's going to add these static defenses. He's got a Ling outside to watch for any Zealot pressure. My guess would be he's going to be moving around the 745 mark to try and pressure the 3rd base. But I think I don't know what happened here. I think his legs are a little bit slow, or maybe he planned on doing a different build. But it's not going to be the extremely fast 730 Zealot pressure that Zergs are used to defending. And wow, he's actually going to get another Overlord at this 3rd base. So very, very efficient Corsair pressure. And now he's got Nbaker in the windmill, as I like to call it, where you're just losing Overlords and you're using all your larvae to rebuild Overlords, constantly being supply blocked. Ooh, nice catch there, but not enough to kill the Corsair.
Yeah, I think he is going for this 730 legs +1 timing attack. It's just, okay, there it is. Now it just finished. So 751. Yeah. Although he's pulling back. Oh, it's almost like he tricked him. So now the Lings are going to defend the 3rd, and he's actually coming around. I like this a lot. Although he still has 2 Sunkens here.
Yeah, Nbaker was droning very heavily. He's going to have to pull probes pull drones to defend this. You can defend this with 2 Sunks, but you need to... Ooh, a little bit of indecision by Gorgonoth. He's just going to dive in and try and kill probes, or kill drones, I guess. Excuse me.
I think
this is just not getting much done.
Yeah, I think the targeting was, like you said, a little indecision, but he might get this second one, or get the second Sunken, I should say. He does get it. I would almost
now the Lings have come back from the 3rd base.
Okay, he gets 1 drone, 2 drones.
Yeah, okay, this is good. It's so the thing, my analysis of this situation would be, okay, Nbaker actually made a lot of Lings. He should have been making Hydras during this time, because he knew that he was eventually going to hold off the attack.
Actually, you know what? He only has 3 Zealots and 1 cannon. This Ling counterattack might just do it. I don't know.
The question is if he's going to dive in on this, because now he's got more Zealots out, and there are 2 gaps in this wall. So these Zealots should not be out here. They can be easily surrounded, but what I would say is that Gorgonoth killed enough overlords, that was okay for him. If he hadn't killed those overlords, right now, Nbaker would be making a ton of Hydralisks, and because Gorgonoth sacrificed all of those zealots to kill a couple of drones, he basically sacrificed his entire army to make that attack, and so he's very vulnerable to a Hydralisk counterattack in this time period. But I think he's going to have Storm by the time there's any pressure at his front, so Gorgonoth's actually okay here.
Yeah, and those Scourge actually don't kill off any of the Corsair. He still has 4 Corsair, so he's definitely fine if a random Muta switch were to occur. And it looks like now the game might stabilize and we might see some Hydralisks coming out.
Yeah, and Nbaker kind of, you know, I think he fumbled his macro a little bit. It's understandable when you lose that many overlords. It's quite difficult to keep up at that point. He's going to transfer a ton of drones to saturate his 4th base. And this is actually, like, extremely fast 4th base saturation. So if right now with these extra minerals, okay, he is doing it. He's adding hatcheries. I think he's going to be in a position to just have his macro explode in a few minutes. Given that he took this 4th base around 6 minutes, which is super, super fast. He's got lurkers up defending his 3rd base, so he's able to concentrate on drones. And since those zealots were lost in that attack, wow, he just killed a bunch of lings though.
Yeah, okay, he does throw down a 3rd. I was about to say I would really love to see the Protoss expand here.
Whoa, Scourge doing a little ballet there. They managed to kill a lot of Corsairs despite being surprised there in the middle of the map. And I would not be fighting Protoss in the middle of the map like this. This is where Protoss is strongest. He's making this timing push with Dark Templar and High Templar towards his 3rd base, and there are lurkers and Sunkens here to defend. More lings are being morphed, but you know, if this attack is coming right at the time before Nbaker's extra hatcheries are up, before his macro is in full swing, so Gorgonoth is going to be able to establish a 3rd base behind this. And
you know, I'm surprised if you have 2-3 storms. I mean, I guess he doesn't know it's just the 2 lurkers, but you can absolutely just blindly storm them based on the spines, and he could have pushed totally into
this position.
But the longer he waits, the more reinforcements are on the way.
This is a Jaedong style counterattack in the 3rd base. He's just sending 6 lings over there to try and deny this, and there's unfortunately he's got about 12 zealots that are going to completely shut this down. But imagine if these 12 zealots had been at the 3rd base participating in this attack. He could have easily broken this 3rd base position by now.
Absolutely. I'm a little surprised there's no cannons up, but if you have 12 zealots chilling at your natural, then you're probably all right.
Yeah, he built some pylons to sort of wall it off, but those are, I don't know. He's gonna go for +3 now. He should be trying to saturate this 3rd base. If you're not
he
gonna
needs to transfer.
Yeah, if you're gonna stand here.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay. So they are transferring, and he is moving those zealots down into a position to attack. But I don't know. I feel like you either have.
Oh, we got a drop. We had a High Templar drop into the main.
Oh, I totally missed that. I apologize, but yeah, that killed a ton of drones. Wow.
Well done, Gorgonoth. Oh,
yeah,
looks he's gonna transferring. That High Templar's got 4 kills. He has enough. Do another storm.
Oh wow. Okay, Scourge killed the shuttle, and the High Templar gets cleaned up. Oh no, there's still a High Templar with 7 kills. He's just gonna stand there to his death because he has no energy. And at the same time, he's gonna attack into the 3rd base of Nbaker.
Okay.
But not with everything. He's going piecemeal into this. And where is High Templar? Okay,
not the most efficient. Okay, he does clean them up, but
lurkers.
Is he going to be able to get onto these Sunkens? I don't know. Zergling's on the way.
Nbaker needs to use these larvae at his 4th base. He's got a bunch of larvae just idle. These could be used as Zerglings to defend. But okay, he's going to bring lurkers in through the Nidus Canal. This is a really good play. And he's cleaned this up. I mean, you know, credit where credit's due. I think that attack by Gorgonoth was just a little bit too piecemeal. He didn't attack at once, and the storms on the lurkers were a little bit late, so he soaked up a lot of damage. Now Nbaker is defended again.
Oh, we did get a nice storm off into the 4th. But
yeah, now now Nbaker, he's defended that attack, and now he's focusing on his upgrades. He just started upgrading from 3 evolution chambers at the same time. So, although his upgrades were initially kind of late, he's going to be pulling ahead in terms of the upgrade count. And this attack is just, there's not enough muscle behind this attack. He's just going one at a time. I would have loved to see maybe an attempt to snipe that Nidus Canal, but I think even if that Nidus Canal went down, Nbaker's still okay. He's got 4 hatcheries at this third base.
He is reinforcing some more.
Yeah, this is
maybe now he could snipe down the Nidus.
Oh, more lurkers come through the Nidus Canal.
Oh yeah, I would just
retreat. This is big
now.
With no High Templars here. Now you see if High Templars. Oh, okay, he is gonna target far down the lurkers though. That's a good play. And now he's forced to back up.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he was able to snipe those down, but...
Yeah, definitely.
Good play, but the Nidus is still up, so this third is going to stabilize.
Yeah.
And so, it looks like Gorgonoth is going to try to take a fourth up here in the top left.
Yeah, I think Gorgonoth accomplished the goal of getting the third base, but he didn't need to lose the army for it. He tried to attack into that third base and attempt to bust it, while also producing probes behind it.
I think if he just stormed before the Zealots and Dark Templar ran in, then all of the then the lurkers would have been just one hit, and that would have helped him a lot. At the same time,
he did execute in a very efficient Templar drop across the map. So
yeah,
multitasking, trying to pull Nbaker apart is really good in principle.
Yeah, I like the idea.
Moving towards the third again. More stuff coming through the Nidus Canal. Do these Defilers have Consume? That is the question.
It looks like they do.
Yes, they do. So, unfortunately, unless there's Plague here, this is kind of a useless tactic because it's all Zealots. But, okay, the Dragoons, that's actually good because the Dragoons are there to counter the Lurkers, and now they can't. But Zealots are going to run in and try and snipe down as many drones as they can. Wow, look at this traffic jam on the ramp. A bunch of Hydralisks coming up from the fourth base. But this is causing chaos, but not a whole lot of damage. I mean, he's still got a ton of drones here. I think Nbaker is just weathering the storm at this point. His macro is out of control now. His army is huge. He's got his bases all Nidus'd up. And now he's just finished his upgrades. So he should be starting those again. He's got 1-1 on his on everything basically. He's about to have 2 armor.
Oh wow. Look at the Hydra pushing up against this fourth. Yeah, he needed about 10 cannons.
Yeah, these pylon walls don't really work that well in PvZ. These Zerg units are super slippery, and he's able to just deny this. So
it looks like we have another attack.
Looks like a counterattack maybe.
But there's just, I think the supplies have flip-flopped, and I just think the Zerg has grown too big at this point.
Yeah, I think his macro is just insane at this point. Especially if he starts using all of this larva that's at his fourth base, he could liquidate his bank in like 1 second. And wow, Gorgonoth even tried to look for a fourth base at this 3 o'clock position, but there were Lings there that killed the probe. And now these Lings are in a position to either counterattack the third, which they could probably do a decent job of, or to backstab an army that's going to attack into Nbaker's third.
Yeah, I actually like what Nbaker's doing. He's saying, you know what? He has to attack into me. I have more bases. I'm just going to deny his fourth and stay ahead.
Yeah, and at this point of the game, you want this as Zerg. You want Protoss to just be throwing units into you because you're the one who can set up for the defense prior to the actual engagement. And look, now he's even going to go aggressive. Oh, wow, that was an amazing play. He got literally all but 1 Zealot with that play. That was fantastic. He caught it right as the units were bunched up at the end of the control group movement. So those units are permanently bruised all the way down to 1 health. And, well, holy cow, look at this defense. This Nbaker has 11 lurkers defending the 5th base. That is the juiciest storm I've ever seen in my entire life. But, you know, I don't think he's going to be able to get into position to pull it off, actually. I don't even know if he has knowledge of this base. But, thanks to BattleNet's replay system, we can't actually see what buildings have been scouted. But now I guess he's going to try and probe at the natural. Wow, this is just a mass lurker style by Nbaker. He has so many lurkers. This is crazy. He's gonna storm the eggs. Okay.
This base is
good, but
not as well defended. If you get on top of these lurkers, units are
and the storms did not manage to finish off the lurkers.
And the Nidus stays up again.
Yeah. And here these lurkers going for retribution.
He stormed the Nidus, but unfortunately it does not hurt buildings.
Well, luckily the Dark Swarm also doesn't defend the Nidus. That would be broken. But
yeah.
Oh, he's just gonna call it GG. Yeah, I think he had just thrown away too many armies at that point. It's hard though to tell what Gorgonoth should have done better because that map is so difficult. I would say maybe either commit to establishing his third timing was really good. Like, I loved the fact that he took a third base behind that pressure play, but I think losing that attack and not doing much damage into the third base kind of put him behind. And from there, Nbaker was just able to turtle up really efficiently. Like, that was super impressive with how he was able to use the Nidus to ferry units there. He was on top of his defense, so really impressive play. Really scary when you hit a Zerg that can do that third base or that four base turtle style effectively and still manage to prevent you from taking a fourth base of your own.
Yeah, I agree. I think the couple of clutch Nidus Canal traveling back and forth between the natural and the third, but
yeah, pulling units through that Nidus, especially the lurkers, was saving play really. And you know, the Protoss, it's always difficult to make that decision of like, do I just run by and target down drones, and you know, or do I try and bust their defenses and kill this base for good? And I think that, you know, it's exacerbated by the fact that the hive tech was so fast for Nbaker. It was seriously a fast hive, which, you know, usually you can manage that when you have that fourth base so quickly, but anyway, it looks like Gorgonoth is going to pick Benzine.
Yeah, Benzine is going to be our map for game 2. Another PvZ. This is game 2 of Gorgonoth and Nbaker. Here we go. I'm actually going to step away from the computer for like 10 seconds.
Okay.
Oh, we got a... Okay.
Oh.
Alright, I'll let you do the intros.
Yep, so it looks like in the top right we've got Nbaker, this is the orange Zerg, and we got the blue Protoss, Gorgonoth, aka Probe King, in the bottom left. So, Benzine PvZ, I honestly didn't play this map very much because I had it vetoed and I never picked it for my CPL matches. I think the only CPL match I played on this map was a TVZ where I got 8-braxed and then just killed the guy with Zerglings. So I don't know anything about PvZ on this map really. Although I like 5-hatch Hydra on this map, 3-base Spire into 5-hatch Hydra, because you're able to take a mineral-only third base, which is directly in line with your natural, and that allows you to have a common rally point between all your bases, which is right in front of the bridges. And the bridges are the primary attack path into the either side of the map for all the races. You can go up and around and behind the ledge, the balcony there, with the destructible power generator to try and sneak your way into their base, or, you know, drop some lurkers on that ledge. But
yeah, I was gonna say, I think this is a strong lurker map in PvZ.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. I think it's less of a Mutalisk map because...
Oh, what is this?
Wow, this is
oh, Proxy 2-gate coming
Proxy
in here.
2-gate at his own third base. Now this is kind of bizarre because, all right, imagine a future where this attack doesn't work.
But he drone scouted and he sees nothing.
Yeah, so maybe Nbaker has a false sense of security here. This is a really close proxy. Now, you always send this Overlord, the second Overlord, in this direction to spot for a cannon rush or something like that. So the question is if Nbaker will continue moving his Overlord to the south. I would imagine so. I like to put my second Overlord at the third base, actually, because if you eventually take your third base there, it's a sort of passive defense against these DTs. He's sending his drone scout back.
And Nbaker already has a...
oh, he knows.
A colony.
Yeah, he's going to scout this immediately, so... And this is just overpool with colonies, so... man. Yeah, this is just a build that's a proxy gate that got scouted, so... I don't think there's much hope for Gorgonoth.
Oh, and he's actually
going across the map.
He's gonna counter.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Yeah, okay. This is smart, in my opinion. He can just spend all of his larvae on Zerglings, and he can buy time with just microing his Zerglings around that sunken colony. The Zealots are gonna have no hope of killing a drone unless they, wow, hatchery and base. Nbaker has obviously played against this before because he's doing exactly the right thing. There's no chance of Gorgonoth having a wall up back home. There's no chance of him having Zealots back home. And he's gonna have to send his Zealots back home anyway. Like, he's gonna abandon this attack completely and try to cannon rush the main. This is just the worst of all worlds for Gorgonoth. I feel bad for him because his build just got completely countered. And now he's gonna lose mining back home with these Zerglings. Oh
can
my
he,
gosh,
Can he cannon push the main? Oh, there it is.
I mean,
although
yes,
there's already Zerglings here.
Like, you're gonna cannon push a Zerg that has creep?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You can just... Zerglings can just dive on cannons and kill them. That's the thing. And Nbaker, he even sees this. Like, he could just A-move and kill all of this. And it looks like he's microing back home. It doesn't even matter at this point. He's done. The damage is done. Like, yeah, he's just gonna run him over.
Yeah, this is unfortunately what happens when your cheese gets scouted.
Wow, yeah, I don't know. Look at Nbaker's even expanding. He's just like, yeah, I'll build this base here. And, like, it's unfortunate. Maybe Gorgonoth was tilted from the loss in the first game, but it's kind of interesting to try and do a proxy 2-gate on a 2-player map. But I do know a lot of Zergs love to 12 hatch on this map because it is such a long rush distance, so maybe he was banking on that, but unfortunately, Nbaker, with all the proper responses, now the gateways are unpowered. And I think he can just win with pure ling at this point. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Even if he sets up 2-3 cannons.
2-gating isn't very good if everybody knows it's coming. Well,
very interesting.
I suppose that's technically true, but yeah, you are with a 2-gate. You are kind of gambling on your build not being scouted. Obviously, that's the only way it ends up working. But not only do you need to get scouted,
or if you 2-gate from your base, you can kind of sim city a little bit.
That way, yeah.
But
just gonna get surrounded, and there's nothing back at home. Why is this game still going on? Did I miss something?
I think he was just hoping that maybe he didn't build enough Zerglings, and there's the GG.
Okay. So, you know, after a promising first game, it's unfortunate that cheese just got immediately scouted, but it's going to be 2-0 for Nbaker, which means that's another point for Samyang.
You are correct.